Saxon Course 2, Lesson 33, Comparing Decimals and Rounding Decimals. So here it wants me to arrange these decimal numbers in order from least to greatest. So I have 0.13, 0.128, and 0.0475. Now I need to see which number is the biggest. So to do that, I'm going to look at the place values. The tens place is going to be bigger than the hundreds place. So let's look at the tens place first. 1, 1, and 0. Well, 1 is bigger than 0, so I know my smallest number is going to be 0.0475. Now I need to look at the next place value. So I have a 3 and a 2. Well, 3 is bigger than 2, so my next smallest number is 0.128, followed by 0.13. Now with this one, it wants me to compare these two numbers, 0.12 and 0.012. Okay? Again, I'm going to look at the place value. So in the tens place, I have 1 and a 0. So 1 is bigger than 0, so I'm going to use my greater than sign because 12 hundredths is greater than 12 thousandths. Okay, I'm going to compare these two numbers, 0.4 and 0.400. When there are zeros at the end of a decimal number, it doesn't change my answer. The number. I can actually just erase any extra zeros at the end because all it's saying is that there are 0 in the hundredths and 0 in the thousandths place. So 0.4 is the same equal to 0.4. Okay? If I kept those zeros, I could also add 2 zeros to the end of my first number, 0.4, because again, adding zeros to the end of a decimal number does not change my number, and it's still equal. Okay, here I need to compare these two numbers. So I have 1.232 and 1.23185. Again, I'm going to look at the place values. So 1, that's the same. 2 is the same. 3 is the same. 2 and a 1. So 2 is bigger than 1, so that means that 1.232 is greater than the 1.23185. Even though there are more numbers here at the end, 2 is still bigger than 1. Alright, now we're going to work with rounding. So I need to round this number to the nearest hundredths place. So with rounding, you're going to underline the number that will be rounding. So in this case, the hundredths place is my 4. So the 4 is the number I'm going to round. The number to the right of the 4 is going to tell me how I will round it. So the number to the right is this 1. Remember, if the circled digit is less than 5, we leave the underlying digit alone. And all of the numbers to the right of my underlying digit become zeros. So 1 is less than 5, so my new number is going to be 3.14, and then everything else becomes a 0. Now remember, with zeros, I can go ahead and erase them because it doesn't change my number. So my answer is going to be 3.14. Okay, with this one, round this number to the nearest hundredths place. So don't get confused, this is hundred, not hundredth. 4,396.4315. So my hundreds place is the 3. 100. So I'm going to circle the number next to it, 9, and I'm going to round up because 9 is greater than 5. So my new number is going to be 440. So 4,400. And everything else is going to become a 0, even after the decimal point. So these all become zeros as well. Now everything to the right of my decimal point, if it is 0, I can erase it. So my answer is just going to be 4,400. Okay. This one, round 38.62 to the nearest whole number. So I have 38.62. My whole number would be the ones place. Okay. I look to the next number to tell me how to round it. The 6 tells me to round the 8 up. So I'm going to round it up to 39. Okay, and then everything to the right becomes zeros. Okay, so it's 39. And again, I can go ahead and cross off those zeros, and it would just be 39 as my answer. Okay, this last part is estimate the product of 12.21 and 4.9 by rounding each number to the nearest whole number before multiplying. So I have 12.21 and 4.9. So with 12, the nearest whole number, that's the ones place. I'm going to look at the number next to it, the 2. The 2 is less than 5. So this one is going to, the underlined number will stay the same. So this is going to turn to 12. With 4.9, the 4 is the number I'm rounding. The 9 tells me how. The 9 tells me to round up. So I'm going to round it up to 5. So it's going to be 12 times 5, which is equal to 60. Okay, and that's my answer. And that is it for this lesson.